There's something moving in here. There it is.
On this episode of Ghost Hunters.
The Midwest Railway Preservation Society, they've had so many things happen around them. People dying, suicide by train.
Let alone you had the Cleveland torso murderer dropping bodies.
Someone was killing people and dismembering them.
Maybe you knew him as the Mad Butcher.
All of a sudden I hear this rap, 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 and I'm like, what the heck's going on? I'm the only one here.
What is that sound?
They want us to come in and see what's going on, see if we're able to document any of it.
Ooh, ooh. I came to do work on the death car, and as I walked in, all the windows slammed shut, all at the same time.
Are your spirits back here?
Do you hear that? Did you work on the train here?
Did you see that? Cleveland, Ohio, home of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, Lake Erie, and one of the most infamous unsolved murder cases in American history. Taft's been called in to investigate a working rail yard and service station that is close to the dumping grounds of the Cleveland torso murderer, as well as the site of gruesome accidents. The service station also houses several rail cars with histories of tragic deaths.
The Midwest Railway Preservation Society, they've had so many things happen around them. People dying, people committing suicide by train.
Let alone you had the Cleveland torso murderer dropping bodies all around the location.
Lots of tragedy.
That's just really, really crazy.
In the 1930s, the Cleveland torso murderer, also known as the Mad Butcher of Kingsbury Run, murdered and dismembered at least 12 victims in the Cleveland area. Overseeing the investigations was famed G-Man Elliot Ness. Unfortunately, the killer was never caught, but many believe he was a railroad worker and possibly even directly connected to the service station, which could explain some of the activity. They claim that there's all different types of apparitions. People see shadows, they see all these different things going on in there. And we were called in by a couple different people. Steve, who has worked there for many years, and also a guy by the name of John Tarzan, who owns old railway cars. And he's had activity in some of the cars he owns.
Interesting.
Definitely.
Yeah, I know he's been talking about a ghost passenger.
Yep, and he filed a complaint and everything because of it. And, you know, Steve really wants to know what's going on, if we're able to document anything for them.
If we hear a train coming, maybe we should set down one of the REM pods and just see what maybe it gives off.
It's not a bad idea at all. All right, well, let's get over there and talk with him. Taps case, Midwest Railway Preservation Society, Cleveland, Ohio. Hey, how are you guys?
Hey, pretty good. How are you guys?
Good. I'm Jason. John? John, it's a pleasure.
Steve, welcome to the roundhouse. It's actually built in 1907. A lot of locomotives have been in here, a lot of steam engines. Basically, over 400 people were working here 24/7.
Working in a rail yard back then was a dangerous job. Numerous injuries and deaths occurred on the site. One of the most dangerous jobs was that of the brakeman, who had to walk on the top of train cars and manually apply the brakes. Sometimes a brakeman would fall from a moving train and be killed. We hear that there's just a ton of paranormal activity that seems to be going on around here.
That's true. I would have all kinds of crazy experience going on in here. You know, I'd be sitting in the office, going through paperwork, and all of a sudden I hear this rap, rap, rap. You know, I walk out, it's real peaceful, calm, there's no wind, no nothing, you know. And then, of course, a couple of the other volunteers that work down here heard them too. And
Anything visual ever that you've seen?
I haven't, but other people have.
In addition to hearing mysterious noises in the roundhouse, people also report seeing shadow figures. There have been other sightings in the yard where Midwest Railway restores cars such as the Death Car, so named for a 1943 accident in which 26 people were killed instantly from scalding hot water and steam. Claims in the Death Car include shadow figures, a voice telling people to get out, and windows that violently close on their own.
I came to do work on the death car, so I opened up all the windows inside the car to kind of air it out. Then I went into the women's restroom to do whatever work I had to do, and as I walked in, all the windows slammed shut, all at the same time. I do believe that the death car is haunted.
In one instance, a young boy had his arm broken when a window slammed shut on him. Full-body apparitions are also frequently seen.
One time we were on the death car. We have like a tour coming in during the fall, and I was giving that talk in the car, and then one of the ladies in the back goes and says, "Are you gonna let that gentleman in the tweed suit talk?" You know, I turned around and there's nobody there. I said, "What gentleman?" You know?
In the Mount Baxter car, visitors claim to feel the presence of 4 to 5 male and female spirits and have heard voices, especially near the number 7 bunk, where a woman passed away in her sleep. And in the kitchen car, people claim to feel a male presence.
The kitchen car was in the process of being gutted out completely, and we were just standing there kind of taking some nails out of the side of the wall, and all of a sudden this huge gust of wind just like blew past us, and we both looked at each other like, did you feel that?
Now, John, you've experienced things firsthand, correct?
Yes, I'm a vintage train car collector, and here I bought the 1929 heavyweight Pullman passenger train. Now, about a month after I had it, I started hearing banging noises. I called up the Midwest Railroad Preservation Society, and they said that same banging they heard when it was here. So something went with the train. Didn't know what it was.
So what are you mainly hoping that we're able to accomplish here?
Well, I know John's interested in getting another car from us, and he doesn't want to have any more ghosts sent out. And the workers, you know, because they do get spooked here a lot, so.
So just trying to figure out some answers on what it possibly could be.
Exactly.
Well, from here, we're going to go talk to the rest of the crew, start figuring out how to set up cameras, and figuring out what we can do for you guys.
Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
thank you very
much for your time.
Sure.
Thanks.
Thanks for coming.
We just heard everything that's happening here at the Midwest Railway Preservation Society. And some really, really intense history here. I mean, you have many deaths that happened on the grounds here.
The history of these cars, they have stories behind them. 26 people lost their lives instantly in the death car. So, of course, the energy from that traumatic experience could be trapped within that structure. So we're going to try to figure out what's going on and just hope that we're able to document some of this.
So we're setting this camera up here on the railway car because in this old kitchen, some guys are doing some work and they felt a presence. So if anything happens tonight, this camera here should get it for us.
This case is pretty interesting for me. I just love rail travel. I do. I don't fly, either drive places, or a lot of the times I take the train. So I might be able to connect with them on that level as a fellow rail passenger.
So right now I'm on the death car, and the claims here include the man in the tweed suit. We have voices, we have sounds. So I'm gonna set this up pointing down there where that man in the tweed suit was seen, and maybe we can talk to him tonight.
Nice to see you there, KJ.
That actually looks really great.
Plus, we're getting the spots where the woman died, so.
All right, I like it. We're good.
Yeah, I'll be locking it down.
Yo.
Hey, guys. All right.
How are we?
We're all set. We have 5 DVR cameras and 1 stationary GoPro.
Awesome. Well, yeah, let's get the lights out and get going on the investigation.
Great job.
Right.
This is Steve and Dave. We're heading into the Mount Baxter car at the Midwest Railway Preservation Society.
EMF .2.
Hello? Can you please tell us your name?
You should come out and talk to us. I love train travel. We know that you may not have the best time on a train, especially if you passed away on this particular car.
That's right, you've been on sleeper trains.
Oh, yeah.
You do have somewhat of a connection to this, especially this car.
All the time, the sleeper cars.
Yeah.
I love it.
Don't be afraid of us.
You can come out and talk to us. Can you hear us?
Hello?
Here we are.
This is Sam and KJ in the warehouse of the Midwest Railway Preservation Society.
All right, so in here, people claim to feel like a strange male presence, I guess, right?
Do we know why they think it's male? Does it just feel heavy and tall? I mean,
Right. Tall, dark, and handsome.
Yeah, is that
Or maybe short, freckly, and handsome. It seems most likely, you know, that it would be a male presence because there's a lot of men that work on the railway. A lot of men died over the years. Is there anybody here?
Steven asked us to come out. Do you know who Steven is?
We're wondering if you worked here.
You want to go upstairs?
Sure. Yeah, let's explore. We're just gonna walk around.
Do you know anything about the torso murderer?
You remember someone was killing people and dismembering them? Not too far from here.
Maybe you knew him as the Mad Butcher of Kingsbury? They believe he decapitated 12 individuals, but nobody knows who he was. He was never caught.
Do you know who he was?
Jay and Steve on the number 90 car, heading towards the Mount Baxter car.
Hello?
Right now we're investigating one of the train cars, and there's a series of cars over here that are investigatable. And they're having claims of feeling a presence. They feel like something is watching them, something is there with them, and they're hearing sounds that they can't explain.
Just a bang up front.
Did it sound like a
Like that, and kind of, but up there, more like something just tapped.
Hello? Are you trying to get our attention here?
This is that bed that that lady passed away on.
I wouldn't mind spending some real time in here.
You could do that.
I mean, if she really did pass away here, that's quite fascinating to me.
Hey, while you're laying there, I'm gonna head towards where that noise just came from.
Okay. I do a lot of train travel, and I must say the sleeping accommodations have definitely gotten better. Hello? Were you a passenger on this train?
Is anyone in here? Can you do something to let us know you're with us?
There was just movement down there.
Hello?
There's something moving in here. There it is.
Is anyone in here? Can you do something to let us know you're with us?
There's something moving in here. There it is.
Yeah, I heard that.
It's not just creaks and pops like metal.
You can understand me. Can you move? Do something that makes a loud noise?
Sounded like a voice.
Steve decided he was going to spend some time in the bed where a passenger had passed away many, many years ago. And I started walking through the cars. And as I did, I got into the actual kitchen car and had to stop because I could hear what sounded like footsteps about 30, 40 feet up from me. And I did hear what sounded like some sort of a voice. There's nothing there. It's definitely strange.
All right, let's board the old death car.
All right. All aboard the train of death. It's kind of creepy, you know, they call it the death car.
Super creepy.
I'm gonna start an EVP session. I just want to get an eyeball on that back door. Because this is the area where there was a lecture going on.
Oh, that's right.
Right? And there was supposedly a man, I think it was the man in the tweed jacket.
That's the same guy they think that they've seen on top of the car, too.
Right. I'm gonna go stand back there in that wall area where I think that this lecturer could have been.
Okay.
And just do a little lecture for you or whatever.
Very well. I shall be your audience member, sir. I shall sit here and pay attention to you.
All right. And I believe from what we were told, the gentleman was standing just about here, and this other gentleman who wasn't part of the whole lecture appeared. This was originally car number 62, and this train was in a horrific accident. A steam locomotive came crashing into it and exploded, and all the steam and hot water came rushing into this train, and 26 members of this car were killed instantly.
Well done, sir.
Did you see any man in a tweed jacket?
No, I didn't see anything.
So this is Sam and Sherry in the B&O Roundhouse. There's lots of claims. There's claims of sounds and tools missing or getting moved. A shadow. That big open doorway over there, there's a shadow. And it's a newer claim. They darted like across the doorway.
Is there anybody here that would like to talk to us?
At one point, there was a gentleman whose name we don't know, but he was nicknamed the Torso Murderer. This man was never caught, but he's believed to have taken the lives of 12 people. Now, nobody knows who the gentleman was. They don't know if he was somebody who worked here. Now, in any way, are you connected to that?
We do have a device that will allow us to hear you later on. So if you need to say anything, all you gotta do is talk into this machine right here that Sam is holding. And if there's anything you need to tell Stephen, you know, please tell us.
All right, Steve. This is the one they call the death car. 26 people died instantly.
Morbid and terrifying.
Yep. I guess 2 ended up dying later in the hospital. That must have been even worse. They had to live through that pain. People claim to see a lot of shadows and hear voices and see full-body apparitions in here. I guess if you know the history of it, it could definitely spook you out.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
This is the window that came down to the kid's arm. All right, so I can already see just these little grooves right here.
Careful.
Window's up, but look, both sides are barely hanging on. Yeah, if I start moving this window, the thing comes right off. See, it's not on.
It's not even on the track. Definitely a possibility that could fall. What was it? Was the train moving when it happened?
Yeah, so the car was moving.
Yeah.
Ooh,
See
yeah,
that?
see?
Yeah, that almost just happened to you.
Yep.
Whoa, yeah, yep. I mean, I think we disproved that. Absolutely.
Is there anybody here who'd like to talk to us? Were you here when this train got into an accident?
Did you work on the train here? Or were you riding the train? We know what you went through was awful. Do you still feel that pain?
Did you see that?
We know what you went through was awful. Do you still feel that pain?
Did you see that, though? What was that shadow, though? It's not anybody walking by, right? Steve and I were in the death car, and all of a sudden, I saw what appeared to be a solid black shadow. And it was really quick, Probably lasted all of about a second, and it was gone. We tried to look for some sort of an explanation, but there wasn't any. It was just, it looked like just a shadow. All right, well, you know what? Let's let another team get in here.
Yeah.
All right, KJ.
All right, Dave.
The B&O Roundhouse.
Let's do this thing.
My name is Dave. This is my friend KJ. And we came here because Steven just really wants to know what's happening here. Someone a few weeks ago said that they saw some shadows. Is that you?
We're trying to establish if you were a passenger on one of the trains or if you worked here.
Oh, oh. Did you hear that?
Hello? If you're trying to get our attention, you have it.
Can you please do that again?
It sounded like it was like right in
Right
this
here.
area.
I keep looking at this barrel.
Yeah.
Because to me, it sounded like a knuckle on a barrel.
Uh-huh.
So let me see, ooh. I mean, that sounds...
That sounded exactly
pretty spot
like
on.
what it was. Or if you worked here.
Oh, did you hear that? Oh, oh. I'm gonna go back to where we were.
Uh-huh.
I'm gonna have this, because this was rolling when we heard that.
Yeah.
Hopefully I got it. Do it again, and that way we can match later on if it's exactly that same sound.
Perfect.
So just do a little lighter than I did.
Okay. You ready, Dave?
Ready. Do it again.
How about like this?
That sounds almost identical.
Sound pretty similar from here.
Yeah. Just from my own ear, that sounds almost identical. And I looked at the barrel when I heard it.
This is the first thing like your eyes go to.
Right.
Like, you know, you're like, oh, that could definitely have made that sound.
Is there anything you can do right now so that we're sure it's you?
Hey, team, be careful. We got a train backing in. Make a connection right next to the taps fan.
Steve mentioned that he wanted to see if the REM pod would go off if a train went by it, and I had the REM pod near the train while it was moving, and it didn't go off. So if there is any energy, it doesn't seem to be coming from the actual the track.
This is Dustin and Sherry in the B&O Roundhouse.
This is a first. I've never investigated any place like this before.
I've never even been on a train before.
You've never been on a train?
No.
Trains are like my favorite way to travel.
Really?
There's something like old school romantic about trains.
Old school romantic. Maybe that's why I've never been on one.
You know, like old school things or romance? All right, so I have the small GoPro camera up there with a little IR to boost. So I'm going to try to get this pathway where apparently that guy walked by. Maybe do like an EVP session here, see if we get anything.
Sure.
And place the recorder down, maybe, something like that. I'm gonna set the camera up this way because we have the GoPro, we have the small camera shooting this way, so I have this one shooting that way just so we can cover both sides since we're in here. So I know one of the other claims they have here is that they hear sounds of like, if they're working down this end, it sounds like somebody's working down that end and vice versa.
And also with the tools. Tools are...
disappearing tools, right?
Right, and then reappearing either there or someplace else.
So if there are any spirits that are here with us tonight, we're going to be trying to communicate with you in various means. If you can try to speak into that device with the red light, or this one over here with the 2 red lights.
If there's anybody here, can you make a noise? It has to be really loud because it's very hard to hear you.
Were you someone that worked on one of these trains? Did you work in this garage for many years, maybe? Still kind of come back here and check on things? Get little sounds from the ceiling.
If that was you, can you do something else?
Were you a mechanic here? Is that why the tools go missing sometimes?
If you are not associated with the trains, can you tell us why you are here?
Are there many other spirits like you are still come through here? What does that sound?
If you are not associated with the trains, can you tell us why you are here?
Are there many other spirits like you are still come through here? What does that sound? If you're able to do that, could you make that sound again? It sounds like someone's walking through there.
Seems to be in that back
Yeah.
area most of the time, yeah.
Just want to take a walk outside just to make sure, like, there's nothing up there. It doesn't look like anything's out here. You just go back in and just see what we can see.
Okay.
Is there more than one of you here with us tonight? There's more than one of you. Make that loud sound like you did just a moment ago.
Sam and Dave in the Mount Baxter car, heading into the lounge section. So you want to hear a tidbit?
Yeah, please.
The movie The Natural.
Yeah, I did hear about
He
this.
signed his contract right here at this table.
That's so crazy. So cool the way this is, the history of this, how it looks. People claim that there are multiple spirits in here.
We've been told maybe 4 or 5.
We just want to get answers for Stephen. So please, tell us anything that you can about yourself.
All right, so right now, Dustin, Sherry, and I are in the Mount Baxter car. People have had experiences in here, and it is thought that there are, 4 to 5 spirits that are rolling through here. If there is anyone here right now besides us, we ask you to join us in conversation.
About the lady that passed away in the bed over there. Does your spirit still visit this place?
Can you tell us if there's any messages that you want to send to somebody?
Little EMF movement, not much. Did you have a final destination? If so, could you tell us what that final destination was? For some reason, this thing's going off.
There's several spirits maybe that just kind of roam this whole rail yard.
Maybe we should talk about the torso killings. It could be that we've got some of those spirits that were killed in this area.
Maybe the story of, the unfortunate happenings in the death car and of the brakeman dying, maybe those are just coincidentally put together with the other activity that's here, but maybe the spirits that are here are from the other tragic things that happened here.
We don't mean any disrespect by bringing up a tragic event. We're really looking for any clue to... Oh, why? For some reason, that alert is going off during specific questions. Were you perhaps a victim of the torso killer, the Mad Butcher?
Should be able to come forward and let us know you're here now.
All right, here we go. Jeez.
Stephen, Dave?
Into the warehouse.
Hello? If there's anyone here, please let us know.
Do you know anything about the torso murderer?
We know that some of his victims were found right near this train yard.
Hey, Tango, check out this old picture.
Look at all these people with those straw hats that they say they claim to see. And that, look how many people wore that.
Yeah, just in this picture, you got at least 10.
the apparition they see over at the death car, it could be a worker.
Right, but they don't know who.
And now seeing this, it was probably a worker from back then.
Or a stowaway.
Yeah? Or
But I feel like you're more on track with it being a worker.
Huh. Was that a train pun?
What do you mean?
On track.
Oh,
Hey.
This is KJ, Dustin, and Sherry moving into the kitchen car to continue our EVP session.
If there's anybody back here with us, could you make a noise so maybe we could come closer?
It's kind of creepy, actually. Dustin and Sherry and I have moved all the way to the kitchen car. And the claims back here, strange noises. They come back to check it out. Nobody's back here. Were you one of the cooks? Did you spend so much time on this car that you don't want to leave?
Are you upset that it looks like this right now?
Make a loud sound for me on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3.
Do you hear that?
Make a loud sound for me on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3.
Do you hear that?
No, I didn't hear anything over here.
You didn't just hear footsteps?
No?
Thought I heard something after that, though.
Right.
I swear I just heard footsteps.
After you said it,
Right
I heard
after.
after that, but not before.
Right.
That one's sealed shut.
I don't want to open it. Door falls off or whatever, you know. Honestly, it sounded like it was coming from above us.
No, that would have been brakeman territory if it was above us.
I mean, I don't know.
I only heard that one thing right after you said something, but it sounded like it was back here.
The brakeman's still here with us. We'd like to hear you.
This is Jay and Steve in the B&O Roundhouse checking out one of the old locomotives.
Right now, we're investigating some of the locomotives. There have been reports that they've seen a few different things in here, shadows, heard some voices. Nothing incredibly visual, unfortunately, but we still have to investigate them.
This is the way to ride, though.
Up here, yeah. But you're surrounded by all these archaic-looking controls. Very primitive. These engineers don't have much room up here.
Hello? If there's anyone in here, can you do something to let us know you're with us? Holy crap. All right. It's about that time. Why don't we wrap it?
I think so. All the teams have really put in quite a night of investigation.
Absolutely. Hey, guys, let's get the lights on. It's time to wrap. All right, good job. Let's see what turns up in the evidence.
Absolutely.
We just wrapped the investigation, and we've been able to come up with some answers that'll help Steve and John. But also, we've had some neat activity that I'm looking forward to analyzing. The sounds that we heard while we were in the kitchen car, the movement, the voices, possibly the shadow that I saw while we were in the death car.
One of their clients took a train out of here that had a ghost on it, and he wants us to be able to tell his clients that, you know, that's not going to happen on every train that comes through this place. But we collected a tremendous amount of data, so we have to go through all of it and then report back here to our clients and let them know exactly what we did or didn't find.
But I think it's been a great investigation. Just getting out here has been an incredible experience.
So guys, the Midwest Railway Preservation Society, we have John Tarzan, and we also have Stephen, you know, our other client who, you know, has a bunch of things happening.
I mean, it seems like that whole area itself, you know, from the location of the Torso murders to, you know, everything that happened with the railway, maybe, you know, there's a lot of energy from all those tragedies that are just kind of following along with the tracks and the trains and the energy involved with that.
Right. As far as experiences go, did anything happen to anybody there?
Well, Dustin and I were in the roundhouse where the guys saw the shadow. We were doing, you know, EVP work. There was actually a lot of noise coming from, like, the ceiling area.
I reviewed that, you know, and it's like, it was loud.
Yeah.
And it's like something was walking around up there.
Right.
So I will play that for you guys.
There are many other spirits like you are still come through here.
Interesting.
It sounds like some traveling going on.
Right.
Yeah.
Those noises were only going on when we were doing the EVP.
Yeah.
So I have an interesting piece for you guys that I'd like you to listen to. This was an investigation where Dustin and I and Sherry were together. We went into the Mount Baxter car. We were just trying to figure out, well, what was your final destination? You know, you obviously didn't make it there, but what was it? And this came through. Did you have a final destination? If so, could you tell us what that final destination was?
One more time?
Yeah. If so, could you tell us what that final destination was? You know, it does have this kind of, you know, vocal tone to it, you know? And it does sound like it says home. It definitely correlates to what the function of that particular location was that we were investigating.
Right.
So I have one piece. Now it's Dad and Steve, and they're in the death car, and they're knocking on things and just trying to get things to move around. And as they're doing it, you hear something, and they don't hear it. They don't acknowledge it.
I mean, we're only held on right now by this right here.
Wow.
What was that?
Wow.
CAPS was called into Cleveland, Ohio to investigate a variety of paranormal claims at the Midwest Railway Preservation Society.
Hey, guys.
Hey, how's it going?
How are you?
We've reviewed our evidence, and now it's time to share our findings with our clients, Stephen and John.
Well, you know what we did. You came in, you told us about all the claims going on here, and even your new car that you actually have activity in as well. We'd like to show you some stuff, get your take on it.
Sure.
And two of our investigators, Sherry and Dustin, were actually in here in the roundhouse investigating. And they were able to have some experiences. It sounded like somebody walking around on the roof.
There are many other spirits like you are still come through here.
People hear noises all the time in here, you know, when they're working late and stuff like that. And
Would there be any reason why somebody'd be up on the roof, though?
there's no way to get up there.
Okay.
There's not a ladder on the building or nothing. They always get that. Everybody does that.
Gotcha. Well, during the investigation at one point, we spent some time going through the kitchen car. While we were in there, I was able to hear what sounded as if somebody was walking. Now, I was standing still. Even my cameraman was standing still. And we were able to hear what sounded like somebody walking up and down. We'll play that for you. There's something moving in here. There it is. Yeah, I heard that.
Yeah, I can hear it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Interesting.
So you're able to hear it, too?
Like, yeah, it sounds like walking, yeah.
The workers, when they were working in that car, they always said that there was something going on in the back, and I always kind of like, no, sure. I mean, this is in the car.
In the back of it? Oh,
Yeah.
that's where all
And
these
that-
sounds are coming from. So this next piece, there was a female voice that showed up just out of the blue, and it sounded like it came from in the car as well.
Okay.
Did you hear it?
Yeah, you can hear it very faintly, but you hear it.
Yeah.
I heard it.
You heard it? Any idea what it's saying?
I tried to do it again. Sound like you want something.
So you're hearing two words as well?
Yeah.
Okay.
You want, yeah.
To us, it sounded like she won,
Yeah.
something like
Something
that.
with what you, yeah.
Yeah. Listen to it again with that in your head and just see if maybe that's what you hear.
She was.
Yeah.
She was.
Yeah.
You think so?
Yep.
Yeah, it does sound like that.
So we have some other pieces to show you from the death car. We're trying to look for any explanation with the window that came down. The one thing we did see is just by tapping your hand or vibration, it can come down. But while we were messing with that, a voice appeared. I want you to take a listen to it, get your take on it.
Okay.
By this right here.
Yep.
Did you hear that? Play it again for you.
Now by this right here.
Yep.
I heard it, yeah.
How many words does it sound like?
Two.
Two?
Two words.
To us, it almost sounds like it says, leave it alone.
I heard it.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Well, this next piece that we have is actually from the death car as well. And the same thing. It seems to sound female. And what to make of it, we're still scratching our heads.
All right, so here you go.
Doesn't make sense. That does sound more residual.
I hear something, but I just can't make it out.
Can you hear the voice, though?
Yeah.
Well, to us, it sounded like, is it time to rest? Is it time to sleep? Something to that nature.
We'll play it again.
When you traveled back in the time, you would buy a ticket for your coach, and if you wanted to sleep in your chair, you can, or they had what you called a dormitory cars, and you can go to that whenever you wanted to.
But so people staying in this car, a lot of them would have had another car to sleep in.
To go to sleep, yes.
So then saying, is it time to rest now or whatever, I guess that would be a common.
It would make sense.
That actually, it just helps explain a lot to what we were trying to figure out.
That's great. And I know, John, that you had a few concerns in terms of, acquiring another train car that could have something attached to it.
Yeah.
We did find that, the cars that we had some experiences or had, captured some evidence always seemed to have some degree of trauma, tragedy. So I think it may come down to just a little research before your purchase.
Yeah.
Well, if activity picks up again, you have any problems, give us a call. We'd love to come back, check it out again at some point. Well, thank you very much for your time.
Thank
Look
you.
forward to coming back at some point.
Okay, thank you.
All right, guys.
Let's get out of here, guys.
When I saw all the evidence, it confirmed that not everybody here is crazy, that they are hearing something, and it kind of puts a little more people at ease. I don't think John will have anything to fear with buying another car from us.
I feel like TAPS have really helped me. After I seen the evidence that Jason and Steve provided, I'm very relaxed now and calm that there's nothing really terrible that would happen to any cars that I do purchase.
So that went great. It really did.
Awesome. It really did. I mean, John realizes that he can get another train car and not have anything to worry about. Movement. Footsteps.
On this episode of Ghost Hunters.
I'm excited about this. Gray's Armory in Cleveland, Ohio. Well, this place was built in 1893, and it housed the Gray's Militia Force.
Over the last 2 years, it seems that something is coming alive in the building.
This place seems pretty intense. Doors slamming,
Did you hear that?
Yeah.
shuffling sounds, movement in this back area.
We believe it might be connected to one of our old caretakers. His name was Lou. But if it's not him, then what is it?
Lou, were you here with us? Those are definite footsteps.
What the hell? Gee, that came from down there.
Are you upset what they're doing to this building? Something just grabbed my shoulder.
Hey, Lou? Whoa, whoa. Is that close behind you? TAPS is headed to the 122-year-old Gray's Armory in Cleveland, Ohio, home to one of the state's longest-running militias. I'm excited about this.
Yeah, I think it's going to be awesome. I mean, every time we've done an armory, we've had awesome activity.
Well, this place was built in 1893. It housed the Gray's Militia Force, which was a men's-only military organization whose main thing was to protect the area in Cleveland. And Kristen is in charge of the place now. She's wondering, because this Gray's Armory is kind of like a guy's club.
Yep.
And a lot of activities really spiked up recently. And she's not sure if it's because
she's a female and she's in charge of the location, and if that's an issue, or if it's one of the old employees who's passed away.
Right. All right, guys, this place seems pretty intense with the activity they're having. They're hearing doors slamming, shuffling sounds, running footsteps, and down in the gun range, they've claimed to see a full shadow figure, like a humanoid shape.
Wow.
Yeah. I'm psyched about this one, man. Let's do this.
Taps case, Gray's Armory, Cleveland, Ohio.
Hi, how are you? I'm Jason.
Chris, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Hi, Chris. Steve.
Steve, nice to meet you.
It's a pleasure. This place is really cool. Wow.
Thank you. Welcome to Cleveland Gray's Armory Museum. Thank you so much for coming today.
Thanks for having us out here. And it's weird because it doesn't look like it's put in the right place. It just stands out.
Absolutely. I mean, armories were always on the outside of towns, which is why the cemeteries were right behind us.
So what's some of the history?
The building is actually from 1893. The organization, the Cleveland Grays, they were formed in 1837. The point of the Grays was when the country was first starting up, there was not a National Guard, so every city was charged with forming their own militias to handle whatever unrest there might be. When the Cleveland Grays started, they first called themselves the Cleveland City Guard. Now, the only rule for a militia was that you couldn't have the same color uniform as the Army, which was, as we know, the navy blue. Many militias chose a gray uniform to honor the New York Grays that had been victorious in the Revolutionary War. So when they would first march, people would say, here come the Cleveland Grays, so much that they just changed their name. They were no longer the Cleveland City Guard and permanently the Cleveland Grays.
What is it being used for now, the building?
Mostly museums. The Cleveland Grays still exist today, and they own their own armory.
That's awesome. Now we know it has history of paranormal activity as well. You want to fill us in on that?
Well, over the last 2 years or so, we started a lot of renovating. And in that time, it seems that something is coming alive in the building. More people are seeing shadowy figures, and we believe it might be connected to one of our old caretakers who loved the building, and he lived here. His name was Lou. He actually passed in this room. He would take a shot of apple cider vinegar before membership meetings. He went to the bathroom to do that little shot, and when he walked out of the restroom and stepped out on the drill floor is when he had his massive heart attack, and unfortunately, he was dead before he hit the ground. It was very sudden, and when we moved his van out of the basement about a year and a half, 2 years ago, that's when we really started noticing that things started to make more noise. People started hearing footsteps when the whole building's all motion sensors, so if somebody else is in the building, you would know. So it just seems strange.
But what kind of things are you experiencing now?
Well, we also have a shooting range in the basement, and we had a range client that was down there, and he saw a figure walk across a hallway into a closed door.
I was down working in the gun range. I was walking toward the front. That's when I saw this shadow figure just walk past. And of course, I called out, see if it was a person down there. There wasn't, so it was very weird. It could be Lou. He used to take care of the gun range.
As he was telling me the story while we were sitting in my office, we have a lot of service flags attached to the wall. The flags all fell off the wall. Never happened before or since.
So and it was only during the time he was explaining
the shadowy figure and whatnot, and whoosh, everything fell.
All over the building, people have heard doors slamming, very prominent running, footsteps, and shuffling sounds.
When I come in, I go through the security door, so I know I'm the only one down here at night. And as I'm working down here in the basement, I hear footsteps walking across the drill floor above me, and it was rather strange. I know that I was the only one here because of the security alarms.
So doors slamming, footsteps, and people seeing what appears to be full-body apparitions. Anything else that's going on?
Well, about 3 o'clock in the morning, 8 months ago, we had alarms going off in the building. All the motion detectors were just going off, and so we said, absolutely send the police. We walk in the building within 10 minutes, and nothing is out of place. There isn't a window broken, there isn't a curtain moving. So as I go to my security footage, I notice what I would assume is an orb, and then all of a sudden it looks like it's basically snowing in the room, and then everything just stops. And that's when the alarm started going off.
Wow, I'd love to take a look at that. What are you hoping that we're mainly able to accomplish here?
Well, I'm hoping it's Lou. But if it's not him, then what is it? We do have a lot of artifacts here from previous wars, and perhaps in doing all these renovations, we've stirred something up and possibly a negative force. There might be some animosity that we are changing moving forward, becoming a museum and letting women involved. It was very clearly a men's organization, so we're worried that there might be a little negative connotation to that.
Okay. All right. Well, I think that's pretty much it. Well, from here, we'll go talk to the rest of the crew and start figuring out how to set up and get everything going.
Okay.
All right. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Absolutely.
Well, interesting claims, and it's only been going on mainly for about 2 years now.
2 years since they moved his car.
And they started renovating.
So it makes sense. You know.
What do you think about coverage? Big place.
A lot of big areas, wide open areas.
Yeah.
And that area there, I mean, easy, one camera in a corner, you got it.
Or set up the GoPros on a 360-degree setup.
Oh, yeah, right in the middle.
Cover everything.
That's actually a good idea.
Yeah. I get 1 or 2.
So, 1 or 2.
1 or 2. We just finished talking with Kristen over here at Gray's Armory, and they're a little concerned. They don't know what's truly going on here, and they have some fears with that. There's a lot of weapons here from past wars. For somebody to lose their gun in battle probably meant that they lost their life as well. Could the energy from that traumatic experience be trapped in that object or something in this building? Only time will tell, but I'm a huge history buff, and this is the type of place that just really can keep me going all night long. And I'm looking forward to investigating and seeing what turns up.
There are some elements to this case that are quite unique. You know, the van that was in the basement, it was moved. That could be the catalyst to spark activity. You know, Lou having that direct connection to the van, that could be maybe the most prominent haunting. And to be thorough, we're also going to check out the cemetery to see if there's anything in there that can help us with our investigation.
We are in the basement and we're putting this camera set up right here as there was a gentleman that actually saw an apparition of a man. So we're going to set this up and hopefully we catch it.
Hey, Steve?
Yeah?
See a DVR rolling, man?
It doesn't look like it.
I'll tell you what, man, that room, that round room where the flags are, I know the flags are the activity, but when I was just walking by there, it looked like something would be like kind of shoulder high for me in white and it moved over to the side, but there's nobody in there. That's weird, man.
All right, well, at least we'll know that we can heighten the investigation in that room.
Yeah, for sure, man. I'll make sure to let everybody else know, too.
All right.
All right, brother.
Awesome.
Thanks,
I
man.
I hope it's something. That'd be a nice start to the night.
Right now I'm in Kristen's office, and I'm aiming for all of these flags because Dustin thinks he saw something in here, so we want to make sure it's all covered.
Keep going, keep going.
Okay, right there. I like it.
All right, guys, it's all cameras.
All right.
You guys?
How are we?
All right, we are good. We're all set.
All right, great, perfect.
Awesome. Good job, man.
Thank
the
you.
team
Yep.
really pulled it together. This
They
is
always do.
record time.
Yep.
Yeah, let's get the lights out and get going here.
All right, great. Sounds good.
All right, Jay and Steve, Gray's Armory, main floor. Want to check out her office.
Good idea. Yep. Dustin saw something earlier while they were setting up.
Yeah, he said to me,
Yeah.
saw like a white, what appeared to be like a white thing.
Yeah.
Hello? Is there anyone here? If so, we'd like to talk to you.
Did you work here? Why would you knock over all these flags?
Did it upset you when they were talking about you, or did you try to let them know you were here? Is that why the flags got knocked down? You just had a door close. Hey, Lou? Anybody else here?
You heard it? Like,
Yeah, it just, but I don't see any open doors.
If it was coming from, there's no outlet over here.
No.
That's
Oh,
locked.
this is locked. Wow.
Weird.
My ears couldn't have been playing games on here.
Right? And there's, I mean, yeah.
You see that?
Yeah, it sounded that was a door. Opening or closing.
That
Probably
sounded like
closing.
it's right above us.
Yeah, I definitely heard that.
All right, so that was the second door that we heard.
I heard it loud and clear. And that one did have a squealing to it.
Yep.
Locked.
Latched. Locked.
Sounds a little like it.
Sounds pretty close.
It really does. It's even like that same kind of closing sound, you know, because it wasn't very impactful. It was like a soft close, but a definite door closing. Movement. footsteps.
It's like we go to one floor, it happens on the next.
It sounded like it was coming from above, that's for sure. Now, wait a second. This door is tied.
Steve.
Yo.
Now it's to the floor below us again.
It is?
Yeah, there's running.
Below us
Listen,
now?
Don't move, don't move.
Jeez, I want to go back down.
Okay, let's try this again.
It's almost like something's messing with us.
Whoa, whoa. That closed behind you? Steve.
Yo.
Now it's to the floor below us again.
It is?
Yeah, there's running.
Below us
Listen,
now?
Don't move, don't move.
Jeez, I want to go back down.
Okay, let's try this again.
It's almost like something's messing with us.
Whoa, whoa. Just... That closed behind you?
That closed behind me. Did you see that?
I did.
I was halfway down the hall. I was halfway down the hall. This thing closed. What the fudge?
All right, so just for the giggles, let's run back through there again.
Yeah. Make sure it doesn't happen automatically. Good idea.
We'll go right here. And here we go.
Okay.
No.
It's not even moving.
It's kind of like, good. Now stay out!
Seriously. I mean, I was about right here, too. I was about right here, and boom! Stopped in my tracks. It's like, that door just closed? Turn around, it's shut. Did you get to see it close at all, or did you just...
With my eyes, I don't know if I got this on it.
But you saw it with your eyes closing?
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
well, yeah.
I didn't see it closing, I just heard it. That was pretty awesome. Wow. See, that kind of stuff jazzes me up.
That was awesome.
Maybe it's just playing with
50 million questions here.
That was a high degree of excitement right there. That was awesome. What the hell? Gee, that came from down there. That came from that way.
Problem is,
every door was locked.
Are the doors locked on this side? Nope. Sure not. Oh, what was that?
All right. So this room, all the lights are on.
Well, we have animal activity, right?
It looks like it. Like dung. Well, that's paint. No, look. Oh.
Those are turds.
Yeah, I think those are turds.
Yeah, but whatever made those isn't running around slamming doors. That looks like bird crap.
Yeah. Okay, so that door opening sound definitely came from up here somewhere.
No.
No?
Listen. It's like creaking. I don't know, Steve. It really makes me wonder if it's doing something to try to keep us on this side and away from this side.
Holy crap, man. I don't know. It's like, wow.
That was awesome.
I think we need to get the girls in here, though.
We should get the girls in here. Maybe we can go take a look at that video and get the girls in here.
You know, I think that's a good idea.
Wow, man. That was really, really super cool. I mean, we haven't played cat and mouse like that on a case in a long time.
That was awesome.
That was awesome.
That was incredible.
And that's what that was. That was a cat and mouse game there.
Cheers, Sam.
Yeah.
We're gonna come talk to you for a sec. You know what? Actually, just meet us right outside of where headquarters is.
My heart is just now starting to relax.
Hey.
Hey.
All right, so honestly, we just had like the most incredible experience. If you go towards the ladies' bathroom, you head up the stairs right inside. Doors, people running on the floors. It was
Are you guys
great.
headed to the basement?
No.
Oh, okay.
No. We're actually gonna go look at that video.
And we want you two ladies to go check out that area.
We will.
You're gonna need a mask when you
Okay.
get up on the second
Yeah,
floor.
up there. Be
Sure,
careful.
you know there's some more over there.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
And there's some rooms up there that you can't go into.
All right.
So just make sure whoever your camera operator is with you, they'll know which rooms aren't safe, that sort of thing. So just be careful, because some of the floors are definitely ready to go right through.
But it was awesome. You got a flashlight?
I do. Yes.
Okay. You got a flashlight too?
Yes.
All right. You just be
you, guys.
careful.
I'm
No,
excited.
thank you.
All right, have fun. Be careful, please. You have a walkie-talkie?
Yes.
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 It's you'll see it. It's when you go into the upstairs. It's the room to the right. Then you'll see
Just
like a
stay out.
skylight. Just stay out.
Something
You'll see,
just grabbed.
like blankets on the
I felt like something just grabbed my shoulder.
We want you two ladies to go check out that area. You just be careful.
I'm
No,
excited.
thank you.
Thank you.
All right, have fun. Be careful, please. You have a walkie-talkie?
Yes.
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 It's you'll see it. It's when you go into the upstairs. It's the room to the right. Then you'll see like a skylight. Just stay out.
Something
You'll see,
just grabbed.
like blankets on the
I
floor.
felt like something just grabbed my shoulder. Like it was like this.
All right.
Like squeezed my shoulder, like right here.
Like just as we were walking into the ballroom?
No, like as soon as I turned around and came right here.
Do you want to tell Ed and Steve?
Oh.
No, that's fine. Do you want me to take the disc with me? I'll analyze it too. It's up to you. I'll take it. That's fine with that. Cool.
So we were just getting ready to walk down and explore your claims, and Sherry just had her own personal experience.
You got 20,
right after you walked
20
away.
feet away from us.
I know.
I know, but yeah, no, it's you guys walked off, and I just came around the corner to stand next to her, and it felt like somebody just squeezed my shoulder right here.
And she said it's pretty
Just like-
hard. I mean, she
yeah, it's
recreated it on
very-
mine, like she was pulled back.
Any red marks or anything?
No, it doesn't seem to be red, but
No.
she said it was with quite some force.
Yeah.
So you felt a squeeze or a tug or a pull? Squeeze.
Like 2 fingers. It was like 2 fingers that just went like
I mean, it
this.
startled her.
On my bones. Yeah, that's what
You could tell she was startled.
Yeah.
Well, you got to remember that some of the concern is that whatever's here is annoyed that the females are in here running it because it was an all-man's club. That's awesome. All right, well,
All right, we're gonna go explore that
be
spot
careful.
then.
Be careful out there.
We will.
Thank you.
We will.
All right, Steve, so we got this footage here.
All right, I guess let's start here.
Wow. All right, let's get to work.
Yeah, no. That whole white man can't jump thing might be accurate.
You know what's screwing me up, though, is the step right there isn't that good.
And you know what else? Gravity.
Oh,
Gravity is completely messing you up.
Well, that's pork chop I have in my belly, too.
We'll just go through the front gates. All right, let's do it. So this is right behind the Armory building.
Indeed it is. Yeah. You know, right now, Dustin and I are outside. We're at the cemetery that is adjacent to the Armory. Our main mission here is to see if we can locate some of the gravestones of some of the Grays that were here, just to see who is actually buried in the cemetery. It goes back, way back to the 1800s, so there's definitely a lot of old gravestones and burial sites here. May give us some names of people that we could use later on when we're inside. investigating. More of a research project right now. It's not something I suggest, going into graveyards to investigate paranormal. A lot of times people don't like it. We do have special permission to be here right now, so it's the only reason why we're here. If you fought for your country, we want to thank you for your service. If you were one of the first people to be buried here, where do you think you would start?
200 years old.
There's a lot of headstones here to check out. You know, because I'm a Capricorn, you know, I'm a fabricator, and I like to build stuff, I have this desire to, like, pick the stone up and like, fix it and put it back into place, clean it up, you know? I really do. I'd like to help.
I didn't know Capricorns were known for being fabricators.
No, not necessarily. Capricorns are known to be, like, fixer kind of people.
Oh,
like,
okay. Gotcha.
Like we're problem solvers. Like, find the problem, try to fix it, then create another problem so that you can keep fixing it, and then more problems.
One way to stay employed.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
No such luck, Cage.
No?
No, man. Huh. These aren't the droids we're looking for.
Not the ones.
This is the second floor.
Okay, so Jay and I, we came through this door, just like that.
Yeah.
And right when I get to about here, we hear, and this door goes like this. Just like that, yep. Yep, I was right here, like this, and heard, and I stopped, turned, and it went boom.
Huh.
And like Jay was like, did that door just close on you? And I'm like, I think so. And then Kendall was like, I got it on the camera. And that door was completely slammed shut.
Can you close that door once more?
Yeah, I'll show you.
No,
I know.
So,
just
all right.
kidding.
Sure, I'll show you. Lou? It's coming from somewhere. It happened 3 times.
Why don't we go stand closer to that opening?
Hold on, let's just listen right here.
Lou, did you close that door? Do you know Chris? That's that way. We should go check that out. Do you know Chris? That's that way. Hello? We should go check that out. There's nobody there.
Nothing.
This is Sam and Sherry in the basement of the Gray's Armory. Let's head over to the range. They've seen an apparition walking from the back of the range from one side to the other. And the door over there leads to where Lou's van was kept. And when they moved that van, that was when a lot of the activity started happening. Is there anybody down here in the range?
Kristen asked us to come by because they moved your van a couple years ago, and ever since then, they noticed some weird things going on.
If there's anybody else here listening who's not Lou, we of course would like to talk to you too.
Are you upset with Kristen? Are you upset what they're doing to this building?
Did you hear that?
Yeah. It almost sounded like there was something in there, but then there was footsteps.
Sounded like a shuffle, though.
Right.
There was a lot of shuffling in there. Let's take a walk in there.
We're coming in, but we're not here to scare you.
Did you want us to come in here and look at something? Maybe you had a story you wanted to share about the armory? How do you feel right now about Sherry and I being down here? Are you okay with the idea of women being down here in the range?
You don't have to be afraid of us. We're not here to get rid of you.
All right, Steve, so this is the footage that they were talking about. All right, let me see here.
So this is from their security cameras, right? You see that?
That's the police. See, he's got his hand on his pistol. He's ready. All right, so that's the first footage.
Okay, so here's the isolated
Channel
camera.
1. And what do we have here? So there's something that's moving. All right, I see it kicking up the dust. Something's in that room.
Yeah, I mean, what she's calling orbs, definitely just dust.
But what's making them move?
What's making
That's the
them
thing.
move?
What's kicking it up all of a sudden?
Honestly, with what we were just experiencing upstairs with something running back and forth and playing like that, it would explain a lot of the dust being kicked up. I'd expect to see dust during that sort of experience, or a door being slammed like we just had happen, would kick dust up as well. So very possibly it's something that has to do with the paranormal that we just can't see, but it's moving the air.
Yeah, I don't know what to make of it.
Displacing stuff.
I really don't.
I don't know either. It's just so many experiences tonight
Yeah.
so far.
All right, so if there are any spirits that are here, Lou or anybody else, my name's Dustin. This is my buddy KJ. We're just here to try to communicate with you.
Were you perhaps a member of the Greys?
Wait, shh, shh.
It came from the backside.
What'd you hear?
Movement. In this back area. Very distinct.
Lou, are you here with us? You can hear movement back there.
Yes. We don't mean you any harm. We come here strictly out of curiosity.
Both my friend and myself are very respectful of the spirit world, very respectful of what happens after we pass on from this life.
Those are definite footsteps.
You can hear movement back there.
Those are definite footsteps.
Very cool. Who else is down here besides Lou?
So whoever's viewing this recorder, what was really interesting is when Dustin and I first came down here, we immediately heard movement in the very back area of the shooting range. Right now, it seems quiet now that we're trying to engage it. We're trying to ask questions. It's much quieter than it was before.
You know what, though, man? It ties in with what Sam and Sherry had to when they backed out of the room and left it to itself.
Right.
That's when it started moving around, shuffling around. They heard all the footsteps, just like we just did. So obviously intelligent haunting, I mean, perhaps not Lou, but maybe Lou, you know.
Yeah.
And definitely someone that knows what's going on. This is a classroom area.
Excellent.
My friend KJ and I are just gonna hang out here for a little bit. You have a hard time letting go of this place, Lou?
Lou, I would like to share with you a fact in my family history. My grandfather was a range officer in Warwick, Rhode Island. He was one of the oldest guys at the range, but he would outshoot some of the young guys down there, and just seeing the camaraderie that he had with his friends there. Could have sworn I saw something block out the light on the floor there to the left. Not that doorway, but over to the left of it. But I'm not clear on it. Were you like that, Lou? Did everybody love you here?
Okay, Lou, we have here apple cider vinegar. We've actually been sipping on it. Smells great, it's delicious. I didn't really.
Oh, I know. You're going like this. That far away. Lou, how'd you deal with this? I know all the health benefits. I mean, you didn't like the flavor, did you?
What would you do if all of a sudden you saw the apple cider vinegar go up and it pour like this, and you see the liquid come out,
but through
and go like through a invisible like belly and go through invisible intestine like in cartoons and stuff?
It would be amazing. I would freaking.
We would be getting like Nobel.
Oh yeah, that's what I mean.
Pulitzer, like all.
But, I mean, it's our research. We're here for that reason. Yeah, you're a genius, man. All right, guys. That's enough of that. It's been a great night. Let's get wrapped up.
So we just wrapped the investigation here at Gray's Armory, and it's been a very productive night. Each team has been able to have their own personal experience, which backs up a lot of the claims that Kristen and numerous other people have had here. Steve and I were able to have some great experiences with doors closing on their own, Sherry being touched. Dustin saw what he believed to be white entity moving back and forth, so we've caught a ton of activity. So I know we've got some stuff to show Kristen, and now we just need to figure out what answers we have that can help her out.
All right, guys. Gray's Armory. It's cool, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was really nice.
Amazing, like you step back in history.
Yeah.
And as far as the location goes, Dustin and I went over to the graveyard that's adjacent to the armory.
Right.
And we went over there to do some research to see if we could find any headstones with any names or anything related to the Grays. But we really couldn't correlate any kind of relationship between the graveyard and the armory whatsoever. But it's still possible that some of the Grays are still buried there.
Right. It's good that you guys checked that out, though.
Yeah, you know, and I mean, that's a huge part of doing what we're doing,
Right.
you know, in the research.
So as far as evidence goes, what do we have?
Well, I'll start. The first piece I have, Sherry and I were downstairs in the basement of the range, and we've been asking a lot of questions, and there was quite a bit of shuffling and footsteps that started.
You totally hear it. It's almost
Yeah.
like even dragging feet or something.
That's awesome, and you know, I'm really glad you guys caught that because Dustin and I had a very similar experience. As soon as we walked through that door to enter the range, it sounded like something scurrying off.
There was definitely that feeling that whatever it was just wanted to watch from afar.
Great.
Beautiful, I love it, yes.
So Sam and I did go upstairs, and we actually went into Lou's room, and we actually heard a noise. Our friends were up here a little while ago, and you were shutting some doors on them.
Let's hear that again.
Yeah, play it again.
Wow, that's interesting. Nice catch. Okay, guys, so this piece here is Sam and Sherry down in that classroom that's off the range,
Where we heard the
right?
shuffling.
And it seems to me like you guys were doing like your post-investigation interviews, and you left that camera and you left it running.
Right.
Great call on that one, because we picked up something really cool. Right there.
Wow.
Right? It sounds like someone saying hello.
That's
awesome.
Super cool.
TAPS was called into the historic Gray's Armory in Cleveland, Ohio, to investigate the activity that's ramped up since an employee died in the building and women have been placed in power positions in the formerly men's-only club. We've gone through our evidence and have a lot of exciting information to share.
Hi.
Hello. Hey, Kristen, it's good to see you again. You too. Well, you know what we did? We came in, you gave us a tour of the location, you told us about all the claims that are going on here. And there were a few little things that started off. A couple of our investigators, Dustin, had an experience in your office early in the night where he saw what he believed to be some sort of like a white figure, and it was gone really quick. And then after that, things really started kicking off. Activity started going crazy.
Yeah, we had some really cool personal experiences from hearing sounds we couldn't explain, following footsteps and doors opening and closing. And Sherry, one of our investigators, something actually
grabbed her shoulder.
And that was pretty exciting for her.
It's amazing. All right, so this first piece we're going to show you, two of our investigators, Samantha, my daughter, and Sherry, were investigating, and upon reviewing it, they thought they heard what sounded like a voice saying something.
Yeah.
You know, the investigators, they kind of, when they analyzed it, thought that it was saying hello, perhaps.
What?
I just, got little sweaty palms. That's all.
Well, the next piece we'd like to show you, Jason and I, we were investigating on the second floor, and it was just these sounds of us hearing the footsteps and hearing doors open and close, and us really running up and down the stairs trying to find out exactly which door it is, which it always seemed to be sort of playing with us a bit. So this is just one of those circumstances. You know, because it wasn't very impactful. It was like a soft close, but a definite door closing. Movement. Footsteps.
So we went upstairs, we started looking around. While we were up there, we started hearing what sounded like doors closing and somebody running up and down the hallway on the second floor. So, of course, we headed back down there to look and try to see what that was.
It's almost like something's messing with us.
But now watch what goes on here. We go back down to the second floor and we start heading down the hallway.
Yeah. That was the door behind me.
Just that closed behind you? And Steve was 20 feet past the door when it started creaking and slammed shut.
Yeah. And when we went to it, it was closed. Like, it was closed, slammed shut, can't open it, the whole thing.
You know, our cameraman's in between us, so, he didn't get stuck on anything. And we looked at that video you gave us, and, initially when we were looking at it, we're thinking, all right, well, it's just dust kicking up, no biggie. But then all of a sudden, where the dust looked like it was just falling, then it was actually being moved as if something was going by the camera, because all of a sudden the dust was kicking up and following a path, which was definitely a weird thing to see.
All of the floating things, what looks like orbs, that kind of stuff, it's just dust. But what would just start kicking up all that dust in a really, central location like that is what has us sort of scratching our heads about your video there. Is it Lou? Is it something related to him? Anything to do with his vehicle being moved? And to be honest, we didn't see any direct connection to Lou. During our investigation, we didn't get any more activity when we brought up his name, that sort of thing. But that doesn't mean that it couldn't be him.
But there was definitely something going on that night. So I do have to say, I believe something to be here. I think Steve would agree with that. Who it is, no idea. Is it threatening? No, it almost appears more playful than anything, but it's definitely interested. I can tell you that much. It's moving all around.
This has been great. Thank you so much for inviting us.
I really appreciate you guys coming out and taking the time.
Well, if activity picks up again, let us know. I'd love to come back. I really would.
So don't ever hesitate.
Thank you very much, Chris.
Thank you.
It's great.
So appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Get out of here.
Gray's Armory called in TAPS to try and find out why we seem to have such a spike in the activity in the last few years. We are worried if it was because there are now women that have been voted in and a changing of the guard, if you will. And we also wondered if it was actually Luke. The fact that a spirit was playing with the investigators would make me think that it's just a friendly spirit that just wants to be known.
If you can make it light up, we'll put the tea set back where it was. Dude, it sounded like something just took a step over here.
On this episode of Ghost Hunters.
So Detroit, Michigan. This is going to be a great case, man. The Whitney, Mr. Whitney and his wife both passed away here. So all I know is who could be haunting this property.
David Whitney was a lumber baron. When he built this house, he was the wealthiest citizen in Detroit. Since we've been here, we've experienced things. Our staff has some who have left because of it.
Who is the person that comes down here and makes a mess?
I was cleaning the dining room, and I noticed that someone was watching me. Is there a spirit that is impacting this house?
Mr. Whitney, do you know the new owners?
Grace, did you come here and play in the carriage house?
Oh, wow, look at that.
That was you making a noise. Can you do it again? What was that?
No way!
Taps is headed to the renowned Whitney restaurant in Detroit, Michigan. Once the beloved home of one of the city's most distinguished 19th century residents.
So Mr. Whitney, he made just a ton of money in lumber. And he built the Whitney house down here, but reports have been going back, 30, 40 years at this location.
Right.
And Bud and Patrick Liebler, the people who own it now, it's a father and son, they've been experiencing things as well.
Did anybody from the family die in the house?
Yeah, Mr. Whitney and his wife both died in the property. But then, years later, it was sold to a nursing facility.
Right, right.
And, people passed away here. So, all I know is who could be really haunting this property.
So some of the claims, a woman has supposedly been seen on the second floor. Third floor, they claim that Mr. Whitney is actually seen at the bar. Footsteps, voices, really just about anything you can think of.
You know, I get excited about cases no matter what. Even if some of them are the same claims, you never know what's going to happen.
That's the thing. Like, every case could be that case, that you see an apparition or you witness something crazy.
Well, I'm psyched about this. Let's get over there and talk with him.
All right.
Taps case, the Whitney, Detroit, Michigan.
Hey, how are you? I'm Jason.
Jason, I'm Bud. Nice to meet you.
That's a pleasure.
Pat.
So what's some of the history of this location?
Well, it started out as a private residence. It was built by David Whitney in 1890. Took 4 years to build, and he built it at a cost of $400,000.
David Whitney was a lumber baron, and when he built this house, he was the wealthiest citizen in the city of Detroit. He was a very entrepreneurial guy. When he was in Massachusetts as a young man, he worked on the shipping docks. So he saw all the raw materials coming out of the Midwest, and he decided if he was ever gonna really get wealthy and have success, he had to move closer to the source of the materials, and that's what brought him to Michigan originally.
Smart.
So he owned lumber fields here in Michigan and in Ohio, a couple other states.
In 1890, Whitney began construction on this home and spared no expense. It was the first residential building in the Midwest to include a working elevator. David Whitney lived here with his second wife, Sarah, and his 4 children.
And they also spent $400,000 on the contents of the house. And they bought all that art and furniture on 2 trips through Europe.
Okay.
So now, Mr. Whitney and his wife passed away here on the property?
Yes, he did in 1900, and Mrs. Whitney maybe 15 years later.
The building was sold to the Wayne County Medical Society and later the Visiting Nurses Association in 1957. It's believed that patients died over the years on the property. From 1980 on, a series of restaurants have taken ownership of this property, with Bud and Patrick purchasing the Whitney in 2007.
Now, we hear there's a lot of paranormal activity that you guys have been experiencing. You want to fill us in on that?
Even before we arrived, we'd always heard the stories of paranormal activity in the house. And since we've been here, you know, we've experienced things. Our staff has, some who have embraced it and some who have left because of it.
I was cleaning the dining room, and I noticed that someone was watching me. There was an older lady with her hair up in a bun, wearing a black dress. And one of the other managers came back in. I asked who it was, and he told me I was locked in the building by myself.
Other apparitions have also been seen on the second floor.
It was a Saturday morning, and I looked up, and I saw somebody walk into Mrs. Whitney's sitting room. Male, wearing high boots, like one would wear at the end of the 19th century. And at first I figured, well, maybe a guest had arrived. And so I followed the person into Mrs. Whitney's sitting room, and when I got in there, there was no one there. And I saw somebody.
We had an episode where somebody saw a little girl in a tutu twirling around up on the second floor.
On the third floor, there have been claims of a male face being seen in the bar mirror and then disappearing, as well as an elderly man that's been seen walking through a doorway curtain without disturbing it at all. But the strangest claim was made by a female customer who had an encounter in the woman's bathroom.
She comes out. I said, well, are you okay, ma'am? She said, I'm fine. I was just talking to your lovely, lovely bathroom attendant. I said, well, we don't have one. Maybe you've seen a ghost. Then she changed her attitude. She said, don't even go there with me. So I opened the bathroom door and I said, look, there's nobody there.
What sort of things have you two experienced?
There's one room in particular on the third floor that I have always thought that if there is a spirit in here, that's where he or she hangs out. And the first couple of years we owned the place was cooler than anywhere else. It was almost a creepy kind of feeling.
For me, I felt winds and energies where you wouldn't expect there to be winds. And it was frightening in the moment because it was so unusual.
Yeah.
But one of the most interesting experiences that happens frequently is when a group of people is moving throughout the house, the elevator inexplicably follows them.
It has its own mind.
Now, do you know around when it was installed, though?
It was original to the house, so in 1890s, but it's been mechanically updated since then, but it's still the original shaft and box.
In the basement, objects are moved in an area called the cage. And in the carriage house, there are reports of increased activity when the Whitney's daughter Grace's tea set is moved.
During those first couple of years, were you guys doing a lot of renovations and stuff like that?
Yeah, a lot of painting and cleaning up.
Okay.
Does anybody have any thoughts as to who might exactly be here?
Personally, I think it's the Whitney family.
What are you mainly hoping that we're able to accomplish here?
We'd all love to find out if this is real. Is there a spirit here that is impacting this house in any way, shape, or form? And do you have any way to prove it or something? Because I don't.
What about you, Patrick?
I agree with Bud. We think that the spirits are here because they want to be in there associated with the house, and so we don't want to necessarily provoke them.
All right, then we're going to go talk to the crew and start figuring out how to set up.
Good deal.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, guys.
Gentlemen. Gentlemen, ladies.
So we just met up with the owners, Bud and Patrick, and they're great people. They were telling us that the building's full of antiques that were bought in the 1890s. So things that are 200-300 years old that could possibly have energy attached to it.
Cool. And he would love to know if it's Mr. Whitney or anybody in the Whitney family, but just the fact that something might be here, we'd like to know.
Just to prove it.
Just to prove it.
Yeah.
So keep that in mind.
Okay. Let's do it. Let's get cranking. So we just finished talking with Bud and Patrick, the owners of the Whitney house, and they were telling us about the claims that are going on here. A man that's seen up on the third floor, a little girl that's been seen in a tutu on the second floor. They were also filling us in on a lot of the construction that seems to be going on right in front of the building. And again, that can be fueling a lot of the activity. This is a very large location, and we'll be investigating both the main house and the carriage house. But I think the team's going to do great tonight.
So I'm setting up this camera right here. This is on the second floor landing. This is where they've seen the little girl in the tutu dress. So definitely want to have a camera on that.
This place is very rich in history. Sadly, you do have some deaths that happen here. Both Mr. and Mrs. Whitney died in the building, and there are reports that people may have passed away when it was a hospital. What I really like is Mr. Whitney, he was from Watertown, Massachusetts, just a short drive from my house. I'm from Massachusetts, and I hope that, he'll see that, latch on to that, and maybe communicate with me.
Actually, can the camera go any higher?
Yeah, give me just a second. Tell me when.
Okay, yep. Yep, that looks good. Tap Steam, that's all cameras.
Hey.
Hey, guys.
Tango, what have we here?
We have everything covered.
Everything?
Pretty much everything.
Wow, look at those angles.
So camera 1, this is the 3rd floor bar where they've seen Mr. Whitney walking through the curtains. Camera 2, this is the basement where people leave, they come back, and everything's on the floor. Camera 3, this is Mrs. Whitney's sitting room where an apparition disappeared right in front of this window. Camera 5 is the formal dining room where they've seen a woman in this doorway right here. Camera 6, this is Mr. Whitney's sitting room. This is where Bud feels most of the activities actually happening.
Good, man. Let's get the digital recorders going and the lights out.
Perfect.
Start setting up teams.
Yeah, we can start investigating soon.
So this is Dustin and KJ. We're at the Whitney in the basement. I'm gonna go check out the cage area.
So this is the area where...
Say all these things get pulled off the shelves, get knocked around.
And then they clean up, and then all of a sudden it's a huge mess again.
Yeah. Could it be multiple employees just moving stuff around? So if there are any spirits here tonight, I'm Dustin, this is my friend KJ. And we're here to try to make contact with you. There's all these pots and pans. Can you knock on one of them? Can you move one?
Who is the person that comes down here and makes a mess?
Or either Mr. or Mrs. Whitney here with us tonight. I'll wander through the basement a little more.
Let's do it, yeah.
We're gonna leave all these objects here in the cage for you. If you want to knock anything over, tonight's the night to do it.
So Sherry and I are now on the 2nd floor of the Whitney. And one of the biggest claims on this floor is that somebody who works here was in this room and they saw an individual walk through that room, do the circle, come up to the window over here, and in their words, poofed, disappeared.
So this is the window that he looked out, right?
Yeah.
You know, you're thinking if it was the person who built this house, like how sad would this be? You have a beautiful house, beautiful land, and all of a sudden now you have so many buildings around it.
It's great that they've kept it up, though.
Yeah, oh yeah, definitely. Is there anybody here that would like to talk to us? Mr. Whitney, we were told that somebody saw you walking in the hallway and walking in this room. Can you tell us what you were looking for when you looked outside?
Jade Steve, 1st floor of the Whitney house.
You see right here, this is Mr. Whitney.
Yeah.
I didn't expect him to be portly.
Remember back then it was a sign of wealth.
That's true. I mean, you ate well.
Yeah.
If it was a sign of wealth nowadays, I'd be like Scrooge McDuck.
So look at the clock is built into this.
I mean, that's amazing. Now, is this where they see the apparition of a woman?
Yeah, an employee has seen her in here. Why is that covered? So they got this covered. It's wild. What is that?
No, is it a button?
I don't know.
Jade, if you found a secret passage button.
Does it turn on the light?
No way! Did you really just find that? Oh my God. Did you just find a secret passage?
What?
No, is it a button? Jade, if you found a secret passage button.
Does it turn on the light?
No way! Did you really just find that? Oh my God. Did you just find a secret passage?
Oh, I did.
You did?
I did.
What's back there?
It's a safe.
It's a safe. Wow. Do you know how to crack it?
Well, yeah, you got a stethoscope and an hour or two.
Oh, secret passage. It's amazing.
Right now, we're on the first floor of the Whitney house, and we're lucky enough to actually just find a hidden doorway that led to a safe in the wall. Now I knows what other secrets this house holds.
So, Mr. Whitney, he would have been all over this place.
That little secret doorway would have been a very valuable area for him. That would have meant a lot.
Oh. Okay. So the elevator just opened on its own.
Okay, I'm gonna go to the second floor.
Go to the second floor. It might follow you.
Going to the second floor. Mr. Whitney?
So this is Dustin and KJ. We're at the Whitney in the basement. What's this room?
This is an interesting room. You come in here and like there's actual woodwork and cabinets and this seems like a much better place to reside. We're curious. If there's someone here that can hear us, can you let us know by making a loud sound?
What's that? What's knocking on the door? Can you see anything back there? Is there something hanging on the door?
No.
Dude, something was knocking on this door. Oh, what's this?
Ah.
I was like, I could feel it like thumping. I'm like, what the hell?
It's a lock.
Just offices, some lockers. Are there any spirits that come through here? Anybody that would like to try to communicate with us?
Are you perhaps a member of the Whitney family?
Oh, man. I think we covered the basement pretty well. Let's slide up a floor.
Sure.
Where's my elevator?
I remember we did get in touch with Otis at one point, and they told us the elevators, they can fire off for no reason.
I think no matter what floor that thing goes to, it's just gonna sit there and keep on opening up.
Yeah.
We took it right now to the third floor.
Let's try it. That's actually a good experiment.
All right, so now let's sit here and wait.
Yeah, let's see if it opens in here. Oh.
Okay, starting the timer.
And see how long until it opens again.
Yep.
So that's what it is. That's why people feel like it's following them. Whatever floor you take it to, every so often, it just opens on its own.
Yep. 5 minutes.
Should we see if it opens
right there
again? In 5 minutes?
Yep, sure.
Yep.
All right, 1, 2, 3, boom. All right, I'm started.
So Jay and I, we found that whatever floor you take the elevator to is the floor that it opens and closes. We timed it, and every 5 minutes on the dot, the door would open and close.
3, 2, 1.
Oh gosh, 5 minutes on the button.
Yep.
All right, disproved.
So Sherry and I are in the carriage house at the Whitney, and the room we're walking into right now is where that tea set sits on the table that Mr. Whitney bought his daughter Grace. But after their death and things started to get packed up, they noticed that when the tea set was moved, a lot of activity spiked. So out of kindness, they put it back because whether it's Grace or it's Mr. Whitney, somebody wants it there. So if anybody's listening, We noticed that your tea party only had 1 cup. That's not really a party.
So we're gonna have a little tea party with you if you want to join us.
Bud and Patrick asked us to come out. They wanted us to come out and see who you are. They've seen a little girl in a tutu. But we're in the carriage house because they told us that tea party over there meant something very special to someone. And when it got packed away a long time ago, somebody may have gotten upset. If you're listening, could you make a really loud noise?
What the hell?
If you're listening, could you make a really loud noise so I know you're listening?
What the hell?
What was that? Oh, it's a piece of stone.
I wonder what could have caused that to fall. Very weird.
So Sherry and I were just investigating the 2nd floor of the carriage house when we heard a loud crash. We saw that it was a piece of construction stone that had fallen over. We're not sure what caused it to fall. It was a little strange. So Grace Whitney, if you're still here, we'd love to have that tea party.
All right, I'm just gonna look in here.
We're not here to make you leave the Whitney house.
Is there anything that you want to say to the new owners?
Could you give us your name?
If that was you making a noise in here, can you do it again? Can you please do it again?
Steve and I are in Mr. Whitney's sitting room, where Bud feels that this is where a lot of apparitions actually originate from. So Steve and I want to spend some time in here and see if we can get anything.
Mr. Whitney, do you know what's been happening in the house here? They've put a lot of money into keeping this place in good shape. Preserve your legacy.
Mr. Whitney, do you know the new owners, Bud and Pat? They want proof. They just want clarification that it's you.
Do all the noises you hear bother you? Construction and renovation. But that's all to keep the house in good shape, to make sure it doesn't deteriorate. You don't want this place to fall apart, do you?
It's a weird spot for noises to be coming from. Assuming if there was an animal behind there, they would have scurried out by now. So Sherry and I were just asking our usual line of questioning. When a noise came from the back corner, and there's nothing over there that we can see, but it was definitely in the same room as us.
I don't see anything running around.
I mean, that one thump was loud.
Yeah.
I mean, we can walk to the rooms and maybe hear something.
I thought something.
What was that?
Is there somebody here with us?
Could you maybe move one of these teacups?
Now, there is no wind outside, right? I mean, I'm looking at the leaves and there's
No, there's no
nothing.
wind. And I mean, it was odd because we heard it there. We started to walk that way. It was like it was coming this way. We heard it again over there, and then it was over here. And we haven't heard them since. All right, well, we're going to go meet with our friends. And some more of them are going to come in here and talk to you.
Thank you.
Hey, KJ and Dustin. If you guys are all set, why don't you guys head over to the carriage house?
Copy. Dustin and KJ heading to the 2nd floor of the carriage house. See if we could communicate with Grace.
All right.
So, man, Sam and Sherry were just in here getting a lot of activity.
All right, so there's the infamous tea set.
Supposedly, she doesn't like the tea set to be moved.
So you're gonna move it to this table with the REM pod near it?
What do you think?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah,
You
I'll
wanna
take
hold
this
that?
for you.
Okay. So, out of complete respect for Grace, we do have permission to move this tea set. So I'm gonna move it from this table over here to this table and see if we get any results from it.
All right, so Grace, we've done a couple of things here.
That was significant.
Yeah. Grace, did you come here and play in the carriage house?
We're trying to figure out. We're gonna need a little bit more, Grace. If it makes you feel more comfortable, I'll get a little bit lower. We wish we could help you. If there's a way that we can help you, can you please tell us?
Any idea where that sound was from?
No. That was really weird.
Let's go look at some of these other rooms.
Again.
Or not.
Do you not want us to leave, Grace? Please don't be upset that we moved your tea set.
We'll put it back. If you can grab onto that, that device, if you can make it light up really bright, we'll put the tea set back where it was. Dude, it sounded like something just took a step over here. If you can grab onto that device, if you can make it light up really bright, we'll put the tea set back where it was. Dude, it sounded like something just took a step over here.
Now it's
Okay, now she's doing that. Okay,
did.
I think we should probably put the tea set back where it was.
All right.
I think that's what she wants.
All right.
Dude, there was a clear step behind me, like the sand on the wooden floor, like, you know, like that sound?
Yeah.
Like right in here.
That's awesome.
Let's put the tea set back like we said we would.
All right, let's do that.
Be people of our word. So KJ and I were upstairs in the carriage house trying to make contact with Grace Whitney after moving her tea set. KJ was starting to get a lot of interaction with her, so I asked Grace if she'd like me to move her tea set back, and bam, like I hear these footsteps behind me, and the REM pod goes off. So I'm very curious as to who was stepping up here behind me. If you can try to come closer, let us hear your voice. Weird, man. Weird, weird, weird. This place is getting weirder and weirder, man.
Yeah. Jason and Steve on the second floor.
Are you heading down?
No, I'm gonna check out this bench on the stairs that's built into the wall. Now, this is a chest.
Oh, yeah. Can you open it?
Let me see. Without destroying anything here.
Do you need a screwdriver?
I need something to grab it with. Yeah, it opens. All right, hang on. All right.
Nice.
It's just a storage bin.
Storage and maybe plumbing access or something?
Let me see your white for a sec. It's brighter than mine. I don't know. They got a shelf covering something else that runs under it.
Should I come down so we can explore it?
Yeah, you can. Okay, just hold that up for a second. Why is it in there?
You're right here. I feel the cold draft. Probably would think it was for insulation, maybe back there.
Maybe, yeah.
Well, if there are any other built-in shafts like this one, that could explain the drafts and temperature changes that Patrick is claiming to experience.
It's weird. It's like everywhere you turn, there's something.
There really is.
Dustin and KJ now entering the carriage house, first floor.
Wow. There's a lot of stuff in here.
Yes, there is.
You didn't have to get me anything, KJ.
You know, I couldn't help it.
That's a lot of chocolate, even for me, bro.
You do love chocolate.
Yeah.
As soon as I saw that, I saw Dustin written all over it.
Wow.
So, stables.
Pretty much everyone just feel uneasy in here, right?
Yeah.
That was the main claim, that people feel very uncomfortable out here in the carriage house. So we're gonna see what happens.
I mean, I can understand why people feel uncomfortable. There's tons of stuff everywhere. There's plenty of places for things to hide.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's disorganized, it's cluttered, for sure. So if you're here, if you understand what it is we're trying to do, could you make a loud sound in one of these rooms?
Grace, if you're here with us, could you call out and let us know that you can hear us? You can open or close one of these stable doors. If you're above us and you can hear us, you could walk around on the floor. We're just gonna wander around a little bit. You have an open invitation to interact with us, wherever we may be.
This is Sam and Sherry on the 3rd floor. So there's a few claims up here. At one point, there was a gentleman sitting at the bar, and he was looking in the mirror behind a liquor, and he saw a man behind him, and it looked like Mr. Whitney.
But didn't somebody see Mr. Whitney walking from over here down this aisle and then just walked through the curtains?
Mm-hmm. But the craziest claim on this floor was over here in the women's bathroom. Somebody was in there, and I guess they came out and they made a comment about there being the bathroom attendant. And the person in the bar said, we don't have a bathroom attendant. Is anybody in the ladies' room? We know that other than the Whitney family, this home was used for other things. The Visiting Nurses Association used it. And then we also know this home is just filled with antiques that belong to many people. So we really have an endless amount of people who could be here. So anybody who's listening, give us your name and why you're here.
Do you have the EMF, Steve? Did you have it before?
It's probably all lost. I'm gonna go find it right now.
Steve, we'll be down here, okay?
Yep.
He went up, he's getting some equipment. What's that? Oh, wow, look at that. What's that? What's that? Oh, wow, look at that. What's that? It's gotta be an explanation for it, right?
That was weird. I thought it was reflecting.
I thought so too, but how could it move? It was doing this, and it went down here, and it went this way. Steve, we just saw something weird.
Did it look free-floating, or did it look like it was on the stairs?
It looked like it was on the stairs, but it just came down, and it just started moving this way, but...
And who else saw it?
Our cameraman right here.
I did.
Was it on that tape?
No, it was not.
Take my light.
Yeah, tell me if you see anything.
Okay.
So I'm like, are you seeing this? And it's like doing this, and it's going down. And it like went and disappeared. I'm gonna walk down the stairs now.
Okay.
Anything?
There were a few little weird light bounces through the middle, but nothing crazy. What if it was those guys coming in from the other building with their flashlights coming through that glass?
Give it a shot. Want me to do it, or you want to do it?
I'll do it, since you know what you're looking for.
I was on the first floor with my cameraman, and we were waiting for Steve to get some equipment. And we both saw something, it looked like a reflection on the staircase. And it starts to move down the stairs, right down the middle, like it's, almost like it's walking, like it's a path. And it gets to the ground, gets to the floor, turns left, and then disappears. And I told Steve about this, so he went outside on both ends of the building, put his flashlight inside the building. I'm not seeing anything.
Anything?
No.
Is it worth it to relook at a camera? Like take the one over here?
Yeah. You just unplug it.
Yeah?
If it was a reflection,
yeah,
I give it the award of the reflection of my life. Just the way it moved, it was coming down like a person would be walking down the path of the staircase. It was perfect.
Hey guys, it's getting late. Let's get the lights on. It's time to wrap.
So we just wrapped the investigation here at the Whitney house, and it's been a rather interesting night. We were able to debunk the elevator, but some teams also were able to have some good experiences.
Tango had a pretty cool experience, but we have no documentation of it. There's a slight chance that their security camera may have caught it, and we could analyze that. One of the questions was, is it Mr. Whitney himself? It could be an answer we can get in our evidence. So I'm excited to see what the team finds and to see what we can bring here to Pat and Bud.
All right, so guys, I know that Bud and Patrick want confirmation from us to show them, okay, you're not crazy.
Yeah.
As far as experiences go, I was with my cameraman, and I wasn't rolling on my camera. He wasn't really rolling on his. I look to my left, and I see a reflection. It was on the staircase, right in the middle, and it's going like this, slowly down the staircase. Then it turns around and just walks towards the tech room. And I looked at the DVR footage. He can't see it.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we don't have it on camera.
Right.
But this is actually their camera.
So this is the Whitney's
actual
DVR
yeah,
system.
we were able to get this from them. At least you can see how we react. He's getting some equipment. What's that? So I saw it and I'm like, are you seeing this?
Nice.
Oh wow, look at that. But look how, especially our cameraman, we both look.
That's amazing.
And it's just weird.
Because for me, the fact that you saw it and you believe in what you saw is evidence enough for me.
Thanks, guys.
Well, cool.
We have it. Whoever would like to go next.
Okay. Sherry and I were in the carriage house, and there was a table with the tea set. You know, they packed up the tea set. Supposedly some activity started in there. Well, when Sherry and I walked in, we heard a loud noise at the end of the room.
It's loud. And what is that, though? Like, what is making that sound?
We did check around that whole area to see if there was anything else, but there wasn't. Also, there was that other noise right before we left.
But this is what we heard.
Cheers. Oh my God.
Yeah. Yeah, that one's distant. It's loud, but it's distant.
Whatever it was hit hard, and there's nothing in that room. It's just, that one was just empty.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it was odd.
Well, I know Dustin and I had an interesting run in that carriage house. Part of that story was that when the tea set was moved, the activity was spiking. So, of course, what do we want to do?
We want to have activity.
Yeah, so we moved the tea set, and we capture this.
Oh.
If you can try to come closer, let us hear your voice.
Is that not amazing, or what?
That's really cool.
TAPS was called to the Whitney restaurant in Detroit, Michigan, to get to the bottom of decades of paranormal claims at the one-time home of 19th century lumber baron David Whitney. We've gone through our evidence and have found some intriguing findings to share with the owners, Bud and Patrick Liebler.
Hey, how are you guys?
Hey.
Good, how are you? Welcome
to see
back.
you again. How are you doing, sir?
Anything happened since we were last year? Not that I'm aware of.
You tell us. You're the guys who were here late at night.
All right.
Well, one thing I think we were able to come down to an answer with, the elevator.
And what it actually does is whatever floor you take it to, it stays on. So we took it up to the 3rd floor and timed it. Every 5 minutes on the nose, the doors opened and closed. So the feeling of people claiming that the elevator is following them is probably attributed to that.
Interesting. I don't think we ever timed it before. I mean,
Well, we've just been doing this for so long, and that's always been a big claim, especially when it comes down to elevators.
So we're able to get to the bottom of that claim, but some of the things we couldn't explain. Tango and I were investigating this 1st floor here, and he was standing right there, with the camera operator waiting for me. And all of a sudden, he saw light moving down the staircase here. Unfortunately, he wasn't able to catch the anomaly that they claimed to see. What we did is we pulled your own security footage, just so we can at least see their reaction. So we'll show you that experience.
He went up, he's getting some equipment. What's that?
At one point, Kendall sees it so clearly, he actually moves out of the way.
Oh, wow, look at that. What's that?
It was just like a light coming down the steps.
Yeah, to him it looked free-floating.
So it came in here, probably. I don't know that we've ever seen that.
Several of the occurrences on the second floor were like right there in that area.
Okay. And the little girl that was once seen was right at the top of the stairs there on the second floor.
Got it.
I will say numerous times in the carriage house, teams had experiences. We'll play one of those for you right now and go from there.
If there's a way that we can help you, can you please tell us?
Weird.
But it was neat that it was quiet up to that point. They asked, and then they had that sound happen. Now, this next piece we're going to show you, Dustin and KJ were investigating, and they started hearing footsteps coming up behind them.
If you can grab onto the device, if you can make it light up really bright, we'll put the T-set back where it was.
And we're not sure also what that weird sound is that at the end right there. He's turning around quickly because they're hearing footsteps coming up behind them, but is that a sound that you guys have heard in the past?
No. There's nothing mechanical happening in that house. It's essentially shut down. There aren't lights, there's no electricity, so there's no movement that's not created by somebody walking through there.
Interesting.
So this next piece we're going to show you is, again, KJ and Dustin, and they're just trying to make contact with anything that's around. I want you to take a listen to it and just get your take on what you think is being said.
If you can try to come closer, let us hear your voice.
I couldn't discern what was being said.
Couldn't either. I could hear
I
something.
could hear something.
Okay.
And it occurred right after the investigator asked for a voice as well. Yeah. It sounds female.
All right, that's good to hear because that's what we thought too. And we'll give you a set of headphones, take a listen to it. It might be a little more clear. And I'll play it over and over again for you, okay?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it does sound like a woman.
We think it might be saying, I can't walk anywhere.
What do you think?
It sounds like an adult woman to me.
I agree with that, yeah. It doesn't mean that a child isn't here as well, but to be able to pinpoint it to be somebody in the Whitney family is very difficult.
And we still think that if there's spirits here, and we don't feel anyone wants to do any damage.
They don't seem to be here for any negative reasons.
It's more protective.
Thank you very much for having us.
Well, we're glad you weren't afraid to come back.
Oh,
That's a good thing.
Well, come on, let's get out of here, guys.
When TAPS came in today with the results, they had some pretty good things. So to have a professional group say, yeah, you're not crazy, there are some things going on here, is validating for us. And I would hope if they come again, we can take it another step further.
There was nothing that was malicious. I think the history with the spirits is the history of the family that lived here, and I think they've always wanted to stay.
I think that went great, Steve.
I do too. Once they were able to hear what those words were saying, I think it really hit home for them.
Oh, absolutely. Just the fact that we caught a lot of that evidence while we were in the carriage house, which they blatantly said nobody's ever in the carriage house.
Right, so they wouldn't know what was happening in there.
Exactly. But I was happy with the way they seemed when we showed them the